Coming up on Newsbeat, how finding a job can be difficult for students with disabilities.
And a new bus system is coming to campus. When will the changes happen? We'll tell you.
Plus, a bridge in Baton Rouge gets a much-needed facelift. Newsbeat starts right now.
From the Tiger TV studio in Hodges Hall, you're watching Newsbeat with Olivia Vidal and Stephen Calamusa. Weather with Alexandra Cranford. Sports with Kristen Schutte. And entertainment with Melissa Clark. Newsbeat, Eye on LSU.
Good afternoon and welcome to this Thursday edition of Newsbeat. I'm Olivia Vidal.
And I'm Stephen Calamusa. Thanks for joining us. People pass over it every day, but most don't realize how unstable it is.
We're talking about the overpass on Perkins Road. Tiger TV's Natalie Messina shows us how this crumbling piece of infrastructure is getting a facelift.
Some things get better with age, but not in this case.
I think it's a necessity that it needs to happen. I'm not looking forward to it, but it'd be a lot worse if the bridge fell.
That's definitely going to impact our business. Parking's already a difficult situation as it is.
They're talking about the closing of the Perkins Road overpass. It's now almost 80 years old and in trouble. David Rimmeter owns Chelsea's Cafe, a popular lunch spot in the day and a place to hear live music at night. Business is booming now, but that could all change the week after the St. Patrick's Day parade. That's when the 18-week process begins of reinforcing and replacing parts of the bridge.
It's not just going to affect us, it's going to affect everybody. I think traffic's going to avoid the area altogether.
Rimmeter says he thinks a parking lot full of big rigs and demolition equipment will mean different business hours for his restaurant.
I have a feeling we won't be open for lunch for very long.
Jennifer Stockovey works at the Royal Standard. She says some of her customers have already said their gift shop is worth a detour trip.
Very optimistic. The overpass needs to be fixed.
It's not hard to see why it needs to be fixed. With broken down columns and crumbling beams, the Department of Public Works says the smallest weight overload could cause some concrete supports to break loose. The Department of Public Works has already set up detour maps throughout surrounding neighborhoods for when the bridge closes. For Tiger TV, I'm Natalie Messina.
Department of Public Works Director Pete Newkirk says the project will cost $2.8 million and that Coastal Bridge, the same company that built the bridge in 1935, will take over the project.
The university braces for a 15% cut next year based on Governor Jindal's proposed executive budget. $45.4 million is set to be slashed from the university. Chancellor Michael Martin said the cut will cause LSU to fall back to where it was 8 to 10 years ago, like the flagship agenda never happened. The governor's plan calls for a 20% reduction of state funding at each academic campus in Louisiana. Jindal will announce the plan on Friday.
Chancellor Michael Martin will be available at an open forum next week to answer any questions concerning the budget cuts. The Chancellor's Forum is Wednesday, March 18th from 3 to 4 p.m. in the Cox Auditorium. Martin is scheduled to take questions from the LSU community about what the cuts really mean for the Baton Rouge campus and how it will affect the flagship agenda.
The university's current bus system could be hitting the road after students have complained of packed buses and off-time schedules. Tiger TV's Erica McManus tells us how the bus system will change.
It's a common sight on campus. People waiting for buses.
I think probably it needs to be a little faster as far as like wait times, because like students don't really know when they're coming or if they are coming.
If there were more of them to where it wasn't as crowded, it would be even more perfect.
LSU currently uses 12 buses provided by the Capital Area Transit System, CATS. Transportation coordinators want to up that number to 21. Director of Parking, Transportation, and Traffic, Gary Graham, says students have approached him with complaints about the current bus system.
You know, we're riding old buses that keep breaking down, drivers not showing up, drivers taking unauthorized breaks. Can we get something a little professional, a little more modern, a little more technologically advanced?
LSU officials are seeking bids from other providers because CATS increase fuel prices as well as increased customer dissatisfaction. Student Government President Colorado Robertson says LSU students can get a better bus system for a small price increase.
And not only have to go up on the fees, maybe another $5 or $10 to get the best service in the Southeast or the best service possibly in the country.
Buses are critical to LSU's campus because they decrease traffic and the amount of cars in parking lots. An increase in the size and volume of buses could help. The buses on LSU's campus can currently seat about 40 people each. They are normally overcrowded and potentially unsafe. But the new buses will be able to hold up to 140 people, making them more efficient. The final date for bus bids is April 1st. For Tiger TV, I'm Erica McManus.
The university sent bid invitations to prospective companies last week. Whatever company provides the lowest bid will get the job, and you might see changes on the bus system as soon as fall of this year.
It's hard enough for an average American to find a job in this sour economy, but it's always been a struggle for people with disabilities. Tiger TV's Laura Lovett has the story.
Tulane graduate student Carla Culbertson was born with cerebral palsy and has been confined to a wheelchair all her life. Culbertson has a social work internship at the university. But when she enters the workforce next year, she must think about obstacles she may face, not only applied to women and minorities. Discrimination is a concern for those with disabilities.
Some places honestly are sort of discriminatory, and they don't want to hire people, because they're scared that they're going to have to help them with stuff.
Associate Director for Disability Services, Benjamin Cornwell, says that discrimination is not intentional.
This type of discrimination, it's a fear of having to spend more money. It's a fear of hiring somebody who won't do well.
Discrimination is just one issue. Once employed, there are still concerns that individuals with disabilities must deal with. Journalism student Garrett Galjor says that he worries about being a quota when hired.
I don't want to be given a job. I want to be able to earn it.
For Culbertson, getting to work is a hassle.
If you can't drive, there's not many options, especially in New Orleans, because their transportation system is kind of faulty.
After she graduates this December, Culbertson plans to find a job in New Orleans. Yet she worries about how she will be received once working.
You go into the workforce with a fear of acceptance pretty much because you don't know how people perceive you and how people are going to react.
For Newsbreak, I'm Laura Lovett.
Culbertson will complete her internship at Tulane this semester. Then she'll try to find a job in social work somewhere in the state.
Still to come on Newsbeat, Alexandra Cranford has your weekend forecast.
And later, a wild invasion inside this convenience store. We've got the details coming up.
But first, tragedy in Alabama. 10 people are dead after one man went on a horrific killing spree yesterday. We'll have that story up next.